Okay.
Well,
All
hello,
right.
everybody. Welcome to another Next Up podcast. I'm so glad that you all are joining us. I want to tell you right up front, don't forget to share, to like, share, and subscribe to my Next Up channel. We have got an extremely important topic to deal with tonight, our health, our number one wealth. We've got some qualified folks that's going to help us address it. And we're going to be addressing what's been in the news for a while concerning President-elect's uh, potential chairman or director of Health and Human Services. We're going to talk about stuff that's been in the news about some things that may be happening. But first, I want to introduce our special guest tonight, co-hosting with us. First, out of Kinston, North Carolina, been knowing this man for 43 years, I believe it is. Pastor Ernest,
43.
welcome to Next Up.
Thank you. I'm blessed to be with you this evening, Dr. Ellison, and I'm privileged to have this opportunity.
Tell us real quickly, what is the skin in the game for you on this health stuff? Give us in about a minute and a half why you are in this health space.
I'm in this health space because biblically speaking, I think of one scripture that says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health." It is the will of God that we pursue avenues, opportunities, windows. We pursue revelations and fellowships and whatever is virtuous to walk in the help, because Jesus has already made it possible for us through knowledge and revelations, through the word. He's made it possible for us to walk in that divine health. And I'm so interested because this is a part of my life.
And now you teach this stuff at your church and in other places as well, right?
Absolutely. At my church and, at other churches, I've done workshops at other places. We put together health and wellness PowerPoint presentations, dealing with those things that are detrimental to us, and then ways and habits that we embrace to stop and to reverse and to rebuke, to have no part of those things that are destroying us.
All right. Well, it's apparent we've got to address the issues. Karen, tell us about you and your evolution, how you got into this health space.
Well, thank you, Dr. Ellison, for inviting me here. I'm excited about that. I want to say that initially I was not interested in the food. This was over 10 years ago. I was not really interested in pursuing it. And I had a coworker who just decided to introduce me to some changes in food. And I said, oh, let me just research and see what I can find. And I was almost shocked at some of the things I found. And at that point, something inside of me just resonated with this and aligned with all of this. And he continued to give me information, and I continued to be very interested until it just took hold. Today, it's a purpose, and I knew it was a purpose that God gave me. And we all have them. We all have purposes. We all have things that we're here to do. And I found what that was, and that was health and wellness.
So what are you doing in this health and wellness space? Because I think X time ago we talked about, I think you were going to senior homes. Tell us briefly what you're doing in the health space.
Well, what I'm doing and what I'm currently going to do, because what I get is a lot of information. I get a lot of truth from people from the other side of the fence, from experts, from people who are food experts and know the real truth about foods. And so I am about to start a newsletter because my purpose in this is to get the information out. It's not for me, it's for everyone else. I can use it, but it's not for me to keep it to myself. So I'm doing a newsletter, and I have been looking into senior centers and things like that to start teaching and speaking with them. Because as we get older, as we age, our body breaks down, and we need to know how to maintain that and try to, stop using the foods that are holding us from
Absolutely.
healing and holding us from getting better.
Now, that's a
So,
good segue right into someone else who's with us tonight. My wife and I appreciate her so much, and she said what you just said. She says it a different way.
mhm,
Knowledge is of no value if it's not shared.
exactly.
Belinda Ellaby, welcome on this podcast with us tonight, too. You want to say anything to that, Belinda?
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Ellison. I ditto the other participants. Thank you for this opportunity. As you mentioned, I do financial literacy, but you can't be wealthy if you're not healthy.
Mhm,
And so I've learned a lot about the financial aspect, but also I've learned a lot about wellness. And Dr. Ellison is correct. After each one of my workshops or classes or whatever, I end up by saying knowledge is of no value if you don't share it, because we perish from lack of knowledge. So I'm happy to have the opportunity to be on this platform to learn, because I too want to share the information.
Well, I want to say also, I appreciate, Belinda, you opening the opportunity there in Clayton County through the Clayton County Library System to get the information as it's been given to me out to all those great people there in Clayton County. So thank you again for opening the opportunity. And we have your good friend Monique, who was in one of our sessions. Anything you want to share? Why are you up here tonight, Monique? What's up with you on this health thing?
Um, like everybody else, I want to be healthy. The foods that we eat, there's nothing that's natural. We talked about that today. A friend of mine, we talked about that today. Coming from the soil to the seed to the oil. If you think it's organic, it may not be. So, health gives long life. So I want to be healthy.
Awesome, awesome. Well, here's how I got in the game. I've been in it now for 30 years. A friend of mine gave me a book back in the mid-90s entitled Why Christians Get Sick. That book became my burning bush experience. I
mhm,
began to chase the rabbit concerning health information like a desperate human being. Somebody, I've got to have this piece of knowledge, or if not, I may be dying tomorrow. I began to pursue it, went to this health food store and saw on the back wall of this lady who's owning this store, this degree entitled naturopathic degree. I'm like, what is that? Never even heard the word before, Monique. I asked her about it, ended up getting into the school, got a doctoral degree, and guess what? The hunger for this health information increased. Well, let me back up. First of all, before I got into the degree, I went out and bought about $400 worth of books, just because remember that first book was my burning bush experience. So I started buying hundreds of dollars worth of books. It was over 400, and went to the health food store, saw the doctorate degree, naturopathic doctorate degree, and the hunger intensified. After that, got into a certification process or program, got certified as a certified nutritional consultant. And guess what? The hunger increased. And I'm still hungry to this very day. I don't like for family members or friends to die early and not ask questions as to why. What happened?
mhm,
Because nothing just happened.
mhm,
There is a cause.
mhm,
Tonight, we want to bring out three things because we're going to be studying, we're going to be examining, breaking open some stuff that's in the media concerning Robert F. Kennedy or things that are being said about him as far as foods are concerned. We're going to examine some of this stuff that everybody can watch. It's all out there on the social media sites. So there are three objectives that I have for tonight. Number one is to stir up in our minds the importance of reading labels.
mm,
The importance of reading labels. Those of you that are watching this whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, our first objective is to stir up the importance of reading labels. Secondly, that we emphasize or stir up the importance of knowing what the ingredients are.
Mm-hmm.
I've said it like this for some times now. If it comes in a box, a can, a package, or if it simply has a label on it, read the label. Know what that's the third point. Know what these ingredients mean when we're taking them in.
Mm-hmm.
Our daughter and one of our sons are here with us here over the Christmas holidays, and we went out shopping. Our daughter and I, well, we were in Walmart together, picking up some items. She'd pick up an item, I'm like, put it back. She'd pick up another item, nope, you don't want that one. She'd pick up another item, and I would read the label, Belinda, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm seeing this stuff all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff that we must be aware of. So we're going to go now into the PowerPoint, and we're going to examine some of the script at the bottom of the PowerPoint that Belinda's going to move from one slide to another. I can't see the first one here. If you could scroll that where I can see the bottom of it, I'm going to mention it, and then we're going to talk about it very briefly, okay?
Let's see.
All right. Or Belinda, if you could maybe read, because I wanted to bring out what was said right under his picture, and I don't see it right at the moment. But if you can read, then, because I'm not seeing it.
I want to see how I can make it full screen. Hold on. I don't want to do anything to lose it.
Gotcha. Yeah, very interesting writings that they're putting out there about him. How many is aware, while she's doing that, how many is aware of Robert F. Kennedy?
I am.
I am.
Yeah, me too.
Aware of him, both of you all? Pastor Fisher, are you aware of Robert F. Kennedy?
Yes, I am.
Well, okay, everybody's got some awareness.
Yes.
My expectation, what I'm believing now, if he is confirmed, that there would be some great changes policy-wise
Mm-hmm.
that can affect the health of just about every American citizen.
Absolutely.
Us who are aware and open to the changes that really need to occur. These changes really need to occur. But now the rats and the roaches, as I like to say, they're already coming out against him.
Yes, they are.
They're already throwing the mud and the eggs and all that kind of stuff to smear his credibility because of things that he has stood for.
Yes.
But I looked into, Karen, as I looked into his agenda from what we can see so far, I'm like, wait a minute, the guy speaks the language I've been speaking for 30 years.
Exactly.
You know, we're not going to harp tonight. It's not about harping on vaccinations. We don't want to go into that particular area, but we do want to address what are they afraid of as far as some of these food items that are out there that we really do need to take a critical look at.
Mm-hmm.
And see, well, why are they stirred up about these items in the foods?
Yeah. They
Yeah.
are. My opinion is that it's money. It's money. If the longer you can keep food on the shelf, that means that there's a certain amount of pesticides, chemicals, and things like that that's preserving the food. And if you can keep the food on the shelf for a long period of time, that's going to bring money into wherever they're selling it. As a nutrition health coach, I would tell people about, as you were saying, reading labels. And luckily, there are apps you can buy. You cannot buy, they're free, that will look at the barcode and indicate the safetiness of the food and the ingredients in it.
Yeah, I have one of those as well.
Mm-hmm.
You were going to mention something, Pastor Fisher?
Yes. The enemy is concerned about us continuing advancing the negative causes that have caused many sicknesses and diseases to continue. And I think it's critically important that we learn to stop doing things that we learn we should not participate in after we have gained an understanding. Then start on a consistent basis doing things that we're supposed to. When I say doing things, reading labels, eating that which is healthy, which is wholesome, start doing those things that we should do. And so the Lord is.
A lot of people think that they are eating healthily.
Absolutely. And that's why I think sessions like this are so revelatory, because the word need to get out across the globe. And by chance, a lot of people will hear, and by divine providence, they will know the times and the messages that are being shared, and we're going to get a turnaround. I do believe that.
Yeah, and it starts with what Monique mentioned earlier. We got to have knowledge. We got to get right to the point. We've got to be. And this is what I can see now. Me personally, I can see that that entities are concerned about RFK bringing out awareness. So I think that there's going to be a strong awareness campaign that's going to come out of this guy if he is confirmed. I believe he's going to bring awareness to many Americans. And you know, as America goes, it's almost like so goes the world. So that's the thing that we got to be concerned about. I want to know what the ingredients are in what I'm eating.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times they camouflage the ingredients by using words and names that we don't recognize, we don't understand. And so, yes, the education is so important because people just don't know. And a lot of people love their comfort food. A lot of people like foods to help them feel better, but they're not looking at what the ingredients are in the food, because some of the ingredients you can't even recognize what it is. It could be more salt, could be more sugar, could be more cholesterol, whatever it may be. They're kind of covered up by these technical words that you don't have any idea of what it is. So education is definitely first and foremost important to teach people what's in their food that they're eating.
It is, because, you know, depending on your vehicle, and I believe that everybody has the same attitude, I want to know the right gas to put in my vehicle. I know the right oil according to the manufacturer. And if we don't read the labels, if we don't get the information, and this is why, again, I can perceive that under his administration, if he's confirmed as Director of Health and Human Services, there's going to be a massive awareness campaign. We can see stuff that is already being posted all over social media. We've got to have knowledge. Everything is built off of knowledge.
Absolutely.
So we've got to be aware. Now, I found it, Belinda, if you were not able to pull it up, I found that statement on the first slide there, and I'll go ahead and read it while you're still working on that for us.
Can you open my screen?
I can't see it. Okay, I'll let you keep working on it there, and if anybody sees it before I do, please yell it out, so to speak, so I'll be aware. But here's what it says under his photo. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has made it clear that he's no fan of seed oils like canola oil, soybean, and sunflower oils, which are staples in countless foods. How many people are aware of that? We often go to the supermarket, I'm hungry, just pick up an item. And it goes on to say his campaign to eliminate these heavily processed oils could radically change what Americans find on grocery shelves and restaurant menus. Think about it, Karen.
Yep.
What's being said here, people are concerned, or entities or special interest groups are concerned about people becoming aware of what was in the foods that they were not aware of.
Right.
Tonight we're looking at, I think the site said 41 different foods that are of great concern.
Yes.
And it goes on to say He argues that seed oils are one of the most unhealthy ingredients in foods, attributing their prevalence to significant subsidies. He also points to these oils as contributing factors to conditions such as body-wide inflammation. You all got anything to say on what I just read?
Well,
Well,
you know, there is a scripture in the Bible that says, in the last days, men will promote devil doctrines, and that is being promoted with a lot of people are deceived and don't even realize that they are promoting deceitful and devil doctrines. And you know how the Bible says this, that we should have no fellowship with unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. You know, and I think that what the enemy is trying to do because of money, wealth, fame, is using deceit to steer people in the wrong direction. But I see God raising an army of men and women with truth that is going to be the nucleus that God is going to raise to stop what the enemy is trying to do. Even if he is confirmed with a lot of the things that he was doing, God is already raising up an army of men and women who are pursuing truth, and they are not going to shut up.
Well, I don't want to be deceived. If I'm
Absolutely.
buying a turkey sandwich, I want a turkey sandwich, not a
Absolutely.
turkey and a pig sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Harry,
Absolutely.
you're gonna mention something on what I just read?
I want to say something about the oils. The oils, you know, when you get oils from your seeds and from olives and from corn and from all of those foods, they have to be processed. They're not just coming out of the substance and being natural. And some of those oils are not good for our bodies because they have a lot of fat content. And we sometimes have to be aware of how much fat that we're eating.
Absolutely.
And also when we cook, we use a lot of oils, and we're not really focused on the type of oils that we're using. And that fat from the oils add to the food that we're eating. And we don't understand the saturated aspect of oils and how it can impact our bodies, our heart, our blood pressure, all of that. So we need to reduce the amount of fat that we eat, and we need to take the oils that we utilize from the natural fruit or whatever it is that you're using it for, like olive oil, avocado oil, and understand why those fruits and vegetables are better to use than the canola oils, which is also called rapeseed oil, the corn oils, those kind of things. And that's where knowledge and information about that is crucial, so that we know how to eat better and cleaner.
Well, here's the first one. Belinda, how are we coming? You
See my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I
Here-
can't
Yes.
get the script, but I can get the screen. Oh, let me see.
But on the side, you see where it says French fries, Kennedy has been vocal about. You got that little paragraph.
Yeah, I need to put let me see if I can move that because okay, I got it. Okay, D, I'm ready.
Okay, well, I can't see it, but I'll read it. Okay.
I can read it.
Okay. If you'll read the one about the French fries, and then we'll adapt that. You
It
all.
says Kennedy has been vocal about McDonald's signature fries.
Hmm.
The company to ditch seed oil in favor of the beef tallow
Uh-huh.
they originally used. Why aren't they making it with tallow fat again? He asked on Fox News, calling it a healthier option.
So people are fighting that,
Mm-hmm.
trying to hold on to the seed oil versus going back to apparently what used to be in some of these food items, stuff like tallow oil. All right, let me tell you what beef tallow basically is. It is rich in vitamins A, D, E, and K, major vitamins to support our skin. All right. So the beef tallow versus the processed oils, as Karen was mentioned, is a much better option than these processed seed oils.
Absolutely.
Any comment before we move on to the next one?
So in lieu of these oils, what oils would you recommend? Or will you get to that?
Yes, well, I would, as it was put there in that slide, I would recommend the beef tallow oil.
Tallow oil.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I would recommend too, depending on how you want to use it, I would recommend the olive oil,
Olive oil. Yes.
the
Avocado.
Avocado oil.
Yes.
coconut oil, but now
Absolutely.
that's going to cause some change in policy of how foods are produced. That is one of the things that no doubt he's going to be challenged with. Why
Mm-hmm.
can't we let things go on as is? Well, the problem is, and the research is backing it up, that these processed oils are causing all types of, as the article said, across the body, inflammatory issues.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's
And
go.
okay.
Brief comment. You going to comment, Karen?
Well, I was just going to say too, frying foods is not good either, because when you fry the foods become rancid like the oils. When the oils get too hot, like avocado oil has a frying limit of like 500 degrees, where general oils like canola oil and some vegetable oils only have a frying limit of 300 degrees. And once it goes beyond that, it gets rancid. It goes bad. So frying in itself is just not good in general, no matter what kind of oil you use.
It's a major point. But
Yeah.
when you buy some
Yes,
of
it
the,
is.
particularly with these deep fried French fries that I used to love,
Mm-hmm.
and not consider what they're cooking those items in,
Mm-hmm.
it does lead to massive problems.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go to the next one then. Potato chips.
Many brands rely on sunflower, canola, or soybean oils to fry chips. Under Kennedy's vision, these could be replaced by animal fats or minimally processed alternatives.
Any comments on that?
Now you see that there is a promotion of what I see as, just calling it what it is, a devil's doctrine. And I think the truth as we know it, as we share it, will stand no matter, because the enemy is just showing another tactic of warring against God, what is truth, what is right, what is good. And Dr. Ellison, I commend you for what we're doing. And I think we have just got to continue sharing and shining forth this light on all of this darkness. And in the end, God will get the glory.
All right, so what's the issue with canola oil? I looked it up. Canola oil contains trans fats and is genetically modified. It is one of those oils that are heavily genetically modified, highly processed, and refined.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike what we would see with the coconut oil or the avocado oil or the olive oil. It is one of those, again, that contains trans fats and is genetically modified. Well, do you want something in your body that the genetic make of it has been changed?
No.
No, we don't want that, right? It also says that studies suggest that it may increase inflammation,
Mm-hmm.
negatively impact, now this is, all of it is a concern, but it goes on to say negatively impact memory and heart health.
Yes.
And we wonder why we've got some of the
Conditions we're dealing with.
psychological health issues. Some of it is coming from what we're ingesting.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Any brief comments on that?
I would like to say just quickly most of the health issues that we're dealing with is coming from what we are ingesting. Not only the foods, but also the knowledge, the information that we are ingesting, misinformation. And what I see the Lord trying to do is to renew us, educate us, and because the knowledge is out there, and then pray against these movements, because God can start whatever he wants and stop whatever he needs to stop. And I believe, for instance, he's hoping to be confirmed. And if he is, God is raising up an army that's speaking truth to power. So we need to continue doing what we're doing to oppose all of these processed oils that he sees nothing wrong with, and to promote what God has given us in oils that are healthy and wholesome for us, and believe that God reigns supernaturally, and God's will be done.
Karen?
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm piggybacking on what he's saying. God created food. We didn't. We didn't create food. Our creator created food. He knew exactly the minerals, vitamins, and the things that our body needed to thrive and to live and to be, so that we can be healthy and we can be nurtured. God created food. We need to stop adding to food what's creating these illnesses. Inflammation means that, well, it creates all the diseases and sicknesses that we have right now. That's what inflammation is all about. Your body is inflamed. The body does not recognize all this processing that's going into our food, and we're ingesting it. And we need to be aware. We need to go back to basics, actually. And the basics meaning that, back thousands of years ago, we had berries, we had greens, we had foods that grew naturally from the ground, from the trees. There wasn't anything added to it. The problem is so much is being added to it to make it taste good, to make it look good, and to just bring us into that space and eat it without thinking about, what is this doing to me? What is all that butter doing to me? What is all that oil doing to me? So we need to go back to basics and start from a level of freshness as much as we can, because food is not fresh anymore. Food is not clean. Even the food that is grown on trees and in the soil, the trees where the soil is growing, the soil where the trees are growing is not good either.
Yes.
You know what? No, we are so careful, again, when we buy a vehicle, to make sure we go along with I don't have a little book here, but we go along with the manual that the producer of that vehicle gave us. We're careful about that.
Yes.
Yep.
We will not go, if that Mercedes-Benz requires 93 octane gas, we know you're not going to go and put 87.
Right.
That's right.
Strive to go along with what the manufacturer prescribed.
Yes.
Simply, as you were sharing that, Karen, we got to do the same thing. We got to go back to the basics. Because see, now I've got this issue. Belinda, I don't see the stats of the pigs or the cows or the monkeys complaining of dementia.
They don't.
I don't see the stats of
their instincts.
It's not there.
Inflammation.
That's right. It's not there.
They know what to do. Yep.
Something's wrong, Pastor Fisher, with this picture that we're having all of these issues. Well, as a matter of fact, I haven't seen the last time that a gorilla went to McDonald's.
They don't want it. They know what it is.
No, the animals don't get sick like that.
They know what to do.
Until we start feeding them some of the stuff that's being discussed. Let's go to the next slide.
Okay, it's microwave popcorn.
Oh boy.
Those buttery bags often contain soybeans and palm oil. Seed oil-free overhauls could make the flavored snacks more natural through potentially less shelf stable.
Wow. I looked up soybean oil. It has been linked to obesity and diabetes, and potentially autism, Alzheimer's disease,
Mm-hmm.
anxiety,
Mm.
and depression.
Mm.
Now, you think about again, when my daughter and I, we were out in Walmart today, the different items she was picking up, because I was training her in reading the labels, seemed like everything she picked up had soybean oil in it.
Yeah.
But again, please hear this one more time concerning soybean oil has been linked to obesity, diabetes, potentially autism,
Mm-hmm.
Alzheimer's disease, anxiety, and depression. So,
Mm-hmm.
as I said earlier, these physical things, these physical items have an effect upon us psychologically as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Our brain has to be fed too, just like our bodies. We don't think about that. Our brain needs certain fats, but not the processed types that we're doing from all these snacks and things. So it's not just the inner part of our body, it's our brain. It affects our brain as well.
And what's been said that I think 80% of our immune system is in our gut area. The other
Second brain. Mm-hmm.
percent is in that head, that mental area.
Mm-hmm.
Not getting those proper fats. Now, every day I've come to do this, Belinda. I take, and I think we may have talked about that with you and Monique earlier. Every day now, I'll have at least 1 tablespoon of avocado oil, and I get it from the Chosen Company. I've done the research and found out where the best qualities of items are being put, or who's producing them. And the Chosen Company produces a good quality of avocado oil.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to take the avocado oil, and as Karen was alluding to, you want to have some type of an oil, whether it be the Creole oil or the black seed oil, or, some say I categorize it as the lesser of the oils, the fish oils, black seed, olive oil, avocado oil. You want to have those fats in your diet. And if you'll notice, if you take a pecan or a walnut and just mash it, oils will begin to come out.
Absolutely.
Proteins in there as well, and minerals as well.
Absolutely.
All of those nuts, I think all of them have oils.
They do. They do. I harvest pecan. I've got the hugest pecan tree you ever want to see. And I eat, pecans, roasted pecans and roasted almonds, which are full of healthy oils. And I've cut back little to nothing. And of course, when you get away and move away from all of the starches and all of the oils that are unhealthy for you, your system begins going through a purging process, and you will actually start losing weight. Where what seems to be the norm is to see everybody, the enemy wants everybody's plump and stuff. You think, well, man, but if you curtail your diet and start eating healthier, you'll shed off a lot of weight, unnecessary fats and pounds that you want to get rid of yourself. But if we continue to do the things that we've been trained to do as being good, and don't make changes, let me just quote scripture. Remember how the enemy said to Adam, he said, look, has the Lord said you can eat of every tree in the garden? And I think Adam said, well, we shall not eat of it, neither shall we touch it, lest we die. But the enemy's agenda was to cause him to go on and eat that which he was asked emphatically, don't eat it. He said nothing about touching, don't eat it.
Well,
you don't eat it, you don't have to touch it.
We're the only species that typically do that. You don't even see a monkey going to a gorilla for milk.
That's right.
That's right. We're the ones that we got to get back on course with this stuff. But again, this is what this show is all about tonight, to bring awareness. What is in your food? As you'll see here on on the PowerPoint and things that people are concerned about as far as policies that will come out that RFK may be putting out, and hopefully so. It is my prayer that he gets confirmed. Because again, I've been studying him and what he does, and many other colleagues, and myself being one, for over 30 years. And there's a massive concern. Things don't just happen. We're not just getting Alzheimer's disease or dementia. We're not just having all of these psychological problems. We've got to consider what we're putting in. And by the way, Belinda, you've heard me mention this before. I tell people I talk to my food.
Mhm.
Who raised it, where it was raised, how it was raised, with what it was raised. I want to know all of that before I let it in. So I'll talk to that food item. Where'd you come from?
Mhm.
Who raised you?
Like
Mhm.
that.
Raised? With what were you raised? As a matter of fact, too, how far were you shipped before I get you on my table? I want to know these things because
Yeah,
they do matter. They do matter.
absolutely.
Say something on that.
Absolutely.
So the next slide has salad dressing,
Mm.
and it says bottled salad dressings rely heavily on seed oils for their base, except a shift toward olive oil, avocado oils, and other cleaner fats under Kennedy's influence.
Mm.
I think this supports the fact that I'm sure seed oils based are cheaper than avocado and the natural oils that we need to consume of.
Mhm.
They are.
And
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier that about the car situation. We would rather spend a couple $1,000s on some tires and some rims rather than spending an extra $5 or $10 for something that's healthy.
Wow.
I
Right.
think this information is really healthy. It's really beneficial.
Yes.
Yes, we've got to get the information, the knowledge out. And my encouragement is to everybody. And I don't say this because I'm Republican, Democrat, that kind of stuff. I say it because I'm concerned about people's health. And I perceive someone getting to be confirmed that speaks our language.
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Want to see
Absolutely.
Long
because,
overdue.
I'm sorry.
I said it's long overdue to have someone who's going to, help us with our diet and to help us with the natural food that God gave us and to get away from the
Absolutely.
processing of all of this and
Yes.
put some rules and regulations in place so that we can stop, going towards the cheap food where they're using the cheap, like you talk about the oils and the salad dressings. A lot of oils start with canola oil. You shouldn't be eating canola oil. It has no nutritional beneficial anything in it, and it causes a lot of weight gain. And so, yes, we need someone who can break all that down and get it off the shelf. Period. Because
Karen,
think
I
about
heard, when you finish, I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
that's all right. Mm-hmm.
No, I heard something from what you said a few moments ago, too.
Mm-hmm.
At North Carolina A&T State University some years ago. I'm speaking to what you mentioned about the policies that needs to be put in place.
Mm.
Government and policies govern everything.
Yes.
This lady made a statement. She was over a foundation of over $500 million. And here's what she said, Belinda, that I can never forget. She said, you cannot program your way out of disparities.
Mm.
Got to go to the policy making level because
Mm.
policies that are put in place that are
Mm.
Mhm.
and give
Yes.
subsidies to food items that we really, when we look into them, we don't want them in our diet. And she said something, Pastor Fisher, about canola oil. So I did some research on canola oil. It
Mm.
contains trans fats, is genetically modified, highly processed, and here it is again, refined. Now, when I
Yes.
buy my coconut oil, I do, and I advocate that to people, make sure you get the ones that is unrefined.
Unrefined.
Right.
Time to read the label to make sure you don't just go in there and pick up something because, oh, I see a bottle of coconut oil. Read that label, because if it says it's refined, that means it's been tampered with, and usually certain ingredients have been taken out and other ingredients have been added in. But it goes on to say about canola oils, studies suggest it may increase inflammation
Mm-hmm.
and negatively impact memory and heart health.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm.
And it's interesting, Dr. Ellison, when you mentioned you have a app too, and it's very simple to get. It's called, the one I use is called Yuka, Y-U-K-A, and it's on the App Store. It's free. And all you have to do is take the scanning part of that app, put it on the barcode, and the barcode will tell you from poor to excellent how that food is, not only the food, but your cosmetics that a lot of us use on our skin. And it will rate it so that you have a better understanding of what you're picking up and what you're going to ingest or put on your skin, and change it and say, no, I'm not going to do it. Too many additives, too much salt, too much sugar, whatever it may have. And it really helps you from trying to sometimes determine what the label is trying to tell you. But the less description or the less ingredients some of these products have, the better off you are, because you put it in English so that you can understand, and it won't be a whole laundry list of different things that you can't even read or even decipher.
You had to have been with my daughter and I, because that's what I shared with her this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Item, and it's got a long list
Mm-hmm.
on it. You may want to consider getting that item or just simply putting it back.
Yes.
The longer the list of ingredients
Mm-hmm.
to be had. Now,
Absolutely.
my seminars, if that item that, as Karen mentioned, that you're putting on your skin or in your mouth, particularly on a consistent basis, and you all know we're creatures of habit, if that item does not match the chemical makeup of your body, you got sooner or later, nowadays, sooner, you're going to have problems.
Yep.
Yes.
Because we are a chemical factory.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
We are a chemical factory. So whatever we put in or put on needs to be close, really needs to be like the chemical makeup of the body.
Yes.
And this is why I stopped using, and we got just 10 minutes left, basically. I stopped putting lotions on my face that chemicals in it that was tampering with my complexion. And I started going to either vitamin E or coconut oil, items like that that are similar to my physical makeup.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This has been astronomical. I used to have red, believe it or not, red looking cheeks, you all. Dandruff all the time. When I changed my diet and what I was putting on my skin, all of those problems got up and left. Terminator came in and just, just sprayed them right out of existence. What
Yes.
you mentioned about what we put on and what we put in matters greatly.
Yes.
You want to give us that next one? We got maybe time enough for two more.
The mayonnaise says this staple condiment often contains soybean oils and its primary ingredients. A seed oil-free version could substitute with avocado oil or beef tallow blend.
There it is again. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is again. We keep hearing stuff over and over as it pertains to the oils in our food. If we would simply switch from the seed oils that have been refined, that have been processed, and switch back over to the natural things, as we've heard already, your life can get better.
I think there's one.
That is that one simple item. Yes.
Yes. Just a statement. We've got to get to the point, and God is getting us there now, where we start reading labels more and more and more and more. Take a few minutes when you were in the grocery store and read those labels. If it's a word, something that you can't pronounce, most of the time is something that you don't need to ingest.
Utilize, to go along with, or just to add to what Pastor Fisher said, I use my phone to shop with.
Yep.
You know, I dare not to go out there and pick up an item, and I'm like, I don't know what that word means.
Mhm.
Mhm. Absolutely.
So some of these words, how many has ever heard of azadi carbonamide?
No.
I've
Oh,
heard.
I
I
remember
have.
you mentioning it before, but I don't remember.
Can I pick on you for just a moment? You never heard of azadi carbonamide?
No.
You said, no? Now, I had one gentleman in my church years ago, Belinda, when I mentioned the word, he's like, is that an actor that I need to get? I'm like, no, azadi carbonamide is far from an actor. All
Mhm.
right. But it speaks to what Pastor Fisher mentioned. We got to read the labels and find out what that ingredient is. What about monosodium glutamate?
Glutamate.
Yes, that's in everything.
Yeah.
So,
It's a chemical. It's poison.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like azadi.
Yeah.
Sodium.
Yeah.
What about sodium benzoate? We got
Mm.
about 5 minutes left, you all. What about
It's
sodium benzoate?
dangerous to ingest.
The combination of sodium kind of chemical.
It's a chemical.
Yep.
What are some of the items that is in?
Oh God, there's so many.
So many.
I've seen it in so many things. I'm like, man, that's been there all this time. I don't know, but
Cupcakes,
uh,
breads,
yes,
cakes,
yes.
All of that. White flour is no good.
the toothpaste. It's in items we would never think. And again, we were in the frozen food section. She was picking up different items because she's getting ready to go back tonight. And so she was getting some items to take with her so she could have them on the ride back to North Carolina. And she was picking up and like, Amy, you want to put that one back? What? She pick up another one. Oh, you don't want that one. What? Dad, come on, Dad. But I'm like, let's look at the label, you know? And so we've got to, as it's been said over and over and over, read the labels. Know what ingredients are in, what those ingredients, who produced those ingredients, and what they do in the physical body. You owe it to yourself to do that. We're going to cover one more and stop for tonight. But Linda, give us that one more item there on the agenda.
Well, this one is crackers.
Hmm.
White cookies rely on processed oils to stay crisp. Reformation could focus on using traditional fats like ghee or clarified butter.
Hmm.
Wow. Now, I love crackers.
I do too.
Yep.
You know, as a matter of fact, as soon as I leave here and go have my salad, I'm going to have some crackers along with my salad. But she
I am too.
mentioned something, replacing the seed oils with clarified butter or ghee. Now, I would encourage everybody listening, bring those items into your house. Ghee
Yeah.
is, what I would say would be like the Rolls Royce of butter or a Michael Jordan of butter. All right, it's one of the top of the line in the butter world, or clarified butter. All right. Now that's important because a lot of the butter that's out there, as well, don't even talk about margarine, which we know that that's way out there in left field. But a lot of the butter are coming from cows that were not fed as cows used to be fed. Cows being fed genetically modified corn, wheat,
Mm-hmm.
soy, and these items that are putting these fats in there that's causing inflammation, that's causing all types of biological hazards,
Mm-hmm.
not natural. So if you're gonna eat,
Uh,
at the top of the list, the Rolls Royce or the Michael Jordan would be your ghee or your clarified butter. But definitely not. Now you're gonna see it on some of these labels. They're gonna say, well, the butter or the milk coming from this particular, or in other words, they'll say things like, we don't really see a significant difference in the butter produced from cows that were fed all of these items like corn, wheat, and soy. We don't see a big difference in that butter versus the butter coming from grass-fed cows. You're going to see those kind of words out there. So you want to be on the watch for it. Okay. Any comment on that as we prepare to close out?
This has been great.
Dr. E, what kind of crackers do you eat?
Well, I gear toward that does not have all those seed oils in it. I forget the name of it.
Is it Late July? Is it organic crackers?
Late July is a company that I've done some research on. It's pretty good. You know, now I watch everything because sometimes food by words that say organic and you
Yeah,
find it's really not organic.
I agree.
Yeah.
I've learned to read that label to see if some of the stuff that Belinda has spoken to us about is inside of that item.
Right.
So I'd say to everybody, don't be deceived by the word organic, because I've gone
Yes.
and it said organic, and then you look at the bottom of the label, no seeds. Well, how do you say it's not organic when the item was produced without seeds? You know, so you have to read the label. That is the safest way to go. Read the labels, verify, utilizing, if necessary, your smartphone to verify who produced it, how it was produced, with what it was produced, making sure that the ingredients are organic ingredients.
Okay.
I would suggest Crunch Masters. I like crackers too, especially when I make soup and what have you. And Crunch Master, I don't know if you've seen it advertised, but it has a good list of good grains and what have you in it, and not a whole lot of garbage in the cracker. So go check out the ingredient label on Crunch Master, and I think you'll be pretty satisfied what you read, because it's not a lot of stuff in the cracker that makes it fattening or bad for you, not a lot of oils and stuff like that, and it's very tasty.
Okay, I'll check them out.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to check that one out. That was Crunch Masters.
Crunch Master, yeah. I eat them all the time, and they're great. They're great. Nice and crispy and good.
Another company that produces some good stuff, the Amy's company.
Oh, Amy's. Yeah, I'm aware of them.
Oh yeah, Amy's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I get some of her vegan meals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that company produces some good items as well.
Yeah.
How do you spell Amy?
Yes, AMYS, Amy's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they're organic as well.
They have vegan dishes in the freezer department.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight on the Next Up podcast. Our guests have been Pastor Ernest Fisher out of Kinston, North Carolina, Karen Purvis here out of Georgia, a great friend Belinda Ellaby of the Clayton County Library System has been just a jewel in helping to get information out to the public there in Clayton County. Now, if you don't remember anything else, remember what Belinda said. Knowledge is of no value unless you share it.
Mm-hmm.
Advocating, share the information, share this link, like and subscribe to the Next Up channel. We're all about getting information out that will empower you, encourage you to make those changes, and even so to entertain you as well. You know, because we gotta add some humor into some of this strong, tough stuff that times, because we're creatures of habit, we don't want to let go of.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
If that item is loaded with all this stuff that we've been talking about, for the sake of your health and modeling to your children and your family, you gotta use determination. I've got to break the habit. So again, thank you all for joining. Thank you, Monique, for getting on as well and being with us tonight. We're going to be doing it again very, very shortly, because we didn't get through the list.
No.
And we've got other items to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, peanut butter.
What was that, Monique?
I was looking like peanut butter.
Oh, I know. See, I know we're going to be touching on people's sacred cows.
Yeah. Yep.
Our sacred cows, Pastor Fisher and Karen, have been touched on, but I got to let it go for the sake of my own health and
That's
for me
right.
to my family, because I don't want my family suffering because I modeled them into incorrect food items. So thank you all again for joining the Next Up podcast. And for those that need some extra help, you can go to my website and get a copy of the 7-day meal plan. The 7-day meal plan. You can go right there at ellisonsconsulting.com. ellisonsconsulting.com. NXT.com and request your copy of the 7-day meal plan. But Linda, I was doing so many seminars and people kept asking me, we need a guide. We need a guide to go by. And
Yeah.
kind of pressured into having to produce the 7-day meal plan. But again, thank you all. Don't forget to like, share, and to subscribe to the Next Up podcast. And this great team and I, we're going to be back very soon with another edition of what we started sharing tonight. God bless. Great rest of your day, night, weekend, or whatever. We'll see you next time on Next Up.
All right.
Thank you, Dr. Ellison. And thank you for meeting everybody
you.
too.
All
Have a
right,
good
Karen,
night.
nice meeting you.
Nice
Night.
meeting everybody.
Good night.
Yeah.
Again, great team. Great team.
I
Good
think
night.
so.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Okay, Dr. E, stop